Magnus Carlsen, Norwegian number one, just played this. Entitled Tuesday, 5th of December, pawn g4 on move 2. His opponent, the Norwegian number 2, Aryan Tari, and what to say about this? I'm lost for words. I had to consult Christian Carrilla for an opinion on this.
Trust me, it's an absolute banger. It's a game changer.
There you go, you heard it from a Grandmaster first. By the way, that's actually in relation to how he checkmated below the belt grooming with the Lawnmower 3000. That's another story for another day. Now this move technically has a name. It's called the Gibbons-Weidenhagen Gambit, apparently. But the Bullfrog sounds so much better, right? Rolls off the tongue. We see a BS accepted by Tari here. And now Magnus just keeps pushing pawns and Tari just keeps pushing his knight. I mean, this whole thing is so rare that in about 550,000 games in the lead chess database, pawn g4, move 2 is only seen 28 times. Ridiculous. We get e5, knight d5, c4, shades of the Alekhine's defense now for black, but you've won a clean pawn. The knight hops back and Magnus isn't done yet. He's played 5 pawn moves. Let's go for a 6th. For good measure, he's throwing every opening principle out the window here, because after knight d5, excuse me, choking, too excited, although he's gained space here, look at the holes he's left behind. This whole vacuous space which black can gallop into in future. So this is overextension of pawns. Finally, Magnus develops a piece. We get e6, supporting the knight in the centre. Magnus carries on developing. That's the theme of his game here, as we're going to see. We see knight captures, pawn recaptures, d6, fighting against the central clamp, and now this is classic. C takes d6, top engine move, the most natural that I think most of us would play, but Magnus immediately goes knight f3. He's giving a second pawn here, which is taken 2 pawns down purely because he wants to attack and rip open lines. This guy is 3,000 rated on chess.com, Tari. Basically a super GM, right? Elite player. And he's just getting mowed down with this ridiculous gambit. So we see rook g1 from Magnus, pressuring this pawn. Knight c6, very good move, pressuring the centre. And now bishop g5. Look at the open lines. I mean, this is the thing about ditching pawns. Computer hates it. You know, black's way winning, almost 2 pawns up. But there's problems. You know, if you go bishop e7 now, well, a trade can come and then the rook's on here and, okay, not ideal. So queen d7 played. It's the top move. Yes, this bishop's a bit dead for now, but there's plans to unravel it. Magnus now goes queen e2, and he's got these ideas of bringing the final piece into the attack, which is quite incredible after 13 moves. This is the thing about gambits, you get quick play, and now Tari already goes wrong. He spends a minute here, finds a bad move. This is what happens when Magnus takes them into the woods. So what should he do? Pawn h6, bishop drops, and then start targeting the centre. Because the moment you take back with the pawn, you release a huge square. Knight b4 to d5 coming, then c5 can come, a6, b5, release the bishop. This is the way to go. But Tari goes knight a5, relinquishes the pressure on the centre, and allows Magnus this brilliant shot of pawn takes on c5, and the rook is coming to the d file. Tari just crumbling here like a flaky pastry. Now this rook is threatening some nasty stuff here. Think Paul Morphy, Night at the Opera. Very famous game if you've never seen it. There's a whole story about why it was a Night at the Opera. Now this knight took on c4. It is the best move, but after rook d1, not the immediate recapture, you have to see the precise follow-up, which Tari missed. What should he have played here? Well, the knight should actually backpedal. You know, you have just won a piece there on c4. And okay, the line can proceed, something like this. And we've just got a good game on our hands. Never play f6, as Feingold would say. But okay, here it makes sense. Now, this is a different game. Knight d6 missed. we see Tari just ditch his queen now. I mean, if he tried to slide to c6, it was mate in 1, remember? So you had to do something. King recaptures, and what do you know it? Magnus is better here. And not just that, 12 moves from here, he checkmates black. 12 moves. Can't get my words out. So now the knight attacked. Knight a5 coming back to here, the computer's favourite. But b5 play does leave some holes behind. If captures en passant, the knight will recapture, but Magnus goes e4 with the queen. Now he's targeting this rook here. So it moves to b8, slides from the attack. Excuse me. We get knight d4, centralising that octopus piece, and after bishop b7, hitting the queen, trying to actually cover this c6 square some more, well, now we get this pawn c6, shutting things down and creating more mating ideas around the black king. So no time for any of this. The bishop recaptures, supports the knight. So we get knight back to b3 now from Magnus. He had some amazing tactical shots already with takes on e6. And then the queen comes to d4 or g4. Huge attack. Rook lifting into the attack potentially. But okay, he just drops back. Uses a lot of time thinking about it. That's why the evaluation bar now drops. But h6 now comes, kicks back this bishop, an exchange offered but not taken. You know, maybe Tari was afraid of opening the f-file, everything like that. This is a powerful knight, and so b4 was played instead. It's the best move. It activates this piece, and there is a counter attack coming, because after Magnus now plays the worst move, or not the best move, sorry, king c1 better, but he goes bishop c5, there's suddenly a line here which gives black an equality. Now obviously Magnus is looking for this and activating the knight, and rook d8 check was played, but if Tari had found this knight b2 check idea, things get interesting, because if you sidestep to c1, knight d3 check comes, e1, knight d3 check comes, and remember you'll have a piece hanging, and if you come to c2 with the king, then there's bishop d3 check, and you pick up the queen. So some very interesting counter-attack ideas. But not played. We see the immediate check from Tari. King c1 now. Pawn takes on c3. Rook d5, a more stalwart defense according to the engine. But now Magnus takes on f8. The king recaptures. The knight jumps to c5, pressuring the bishop, which is supporting the knight. What to do? Because if bishop b5, again, there's these huge attacking ideas with knight takes, pawn takes, and then you start attacking this king. If it comes this way, well, goes this way, but if it comes this way, then we've got rook crashing through here. All sorts of nasty stuff threatened. You can only stave it off temporarily. And if you come this way, then there's queen f6. Threatening mate and the rook, so no time for this. This square's covered, etc. Awful. So this a big threat. Bishop b5 not played. Knight d2 instead. Hits the queen on e4. We get queen b4 now. X-raying the black king through the knight. The bishop's still attacked. And what should you do here? Well, king g8, top move. You literally just ditch a piece. Plus there's still these attacking ideas. But Tari saves his bishop, low on time, and now can you find the crushing blow? And if you've enjoyed this one, do smash that like, really helps me out. And if you're not yet subscribed, do consider. You're statistically more likely to gain 300 rating points in the next month by doing so. So, the finish to the game here, mate in 2, Magnus crashes through with this same recurring theme. It's double check from knight and queen. We get king e8 played, and now this is the checkmating blow. You also could have taken here to deliver the same mate. Look at these themes. This game is utterly ridiculous. Tari taken down with the BS or Bullfrog Gambit on move 2. If you enjoyed this game, check out the video on screen for another awesome game of chess. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.